My name is Valentina Maurel. I'm the director of Tengo Sueños Eléctricos. I have electric dreams. And the movie tells the story of Eva, that is a 16-year-old girl that wants to live with her father after her parents divorced. But it's difficult because her father is going through a crisis, a second adolescence. And so it's her story, the story of how she kind of discovers all the complexity of the adult world and her own sexual awakening by accompanying, being close to her father that's going through this crisis. Yeah, sorry, and the film is set in Costa Rica because I keep forgetting to say it. But yeah. Well, I don't think I chose. I would have liked to do another thing actually, but I wanted to write about middle class in Costa Rica, about San Jose, the city I grew up in. I started writing about a family, and then suddenly it became a father and daughter relationship. But there's been so many films about a father figure that I thought I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, I don't want to do another one, but I think it hasn't been told so much, the father and daughter relationship, and especially one of the subjects of the film is violence, the transmission of violence, and I think it hasn't been told that much between a father and a daughter. So that was it. I didn't choose to, but it happened to be the subject of the film. It actually does a lot, but I didn't. It wasn't something I mean, when you're a Costa Rican filmmaker, you come from a small country, so you feel like suddenly you maybe need to represent your country in your film, you know. And for me, that it's a problem because suddenly you start making films that are a bit folkloric or cultural, or you know. So I tried not to think about that. I tried to make a film that would be universal, you know, and still in a way, suddenly it talks about specific things about living in Costa Rica, middle class there, a chaotic city, you know. But I think that it's something that every spectator could relate to in the world, I think. So what it says is just that we have a lot of things in common. Yeah, I like to talk about the relationships between generations because I grew up in a family of artists where you sometimes could feel that you know, it was good to not make a difference between who is an adult and who is a kid, you know, because there's this sense of trying to get rid of the authority. The authority is like um, from the old world, you know, but that makes it very a free space, but also a bit of a weird space. And there's a lot of vertigo and not knowing who's the responsible person, you know. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about a teenager that realizes that the adults around her are as lost as she is, and there are still adolescents also, and how that is at the same time good and at the same time pretty bad. Well, I think there is a way, but not if we see adulthood as this place you arrive into, and then you have maturity and power, and then you just settle yourself and live your life. You know, I think the thing is that we stop. When you're a teenager, you're asking yourselves very deep questions, you know, and you're tormented by them, and you want to understand the world. So if you see adulthood as the place in which you have all the answers and you don't ask yourself anything anymore, then I don't think that's a reality, that's a myth. You don't really never get there. So I like the vertigo of adolescence, and I think it's okay that adults, um, you know, allow themselves to go through this also, you know. But I don't think there's such thing as an adulthood, like just like that. Well, yes, it's based on myself, but it's also based on other people. The film is not completely autobiographic. I think there's a little bit of me in all the characters, really. But I wanted to show a teenager that is pretty. She's very strong. She's very determined to understand the adult world, but she's not. She's not a hero either. You know, she's a bit of a anti-hero. I don't like heroes so much. She's not a victim, but she's not a hero. You know, so I think sometimes now we tend to expect from female characters to be always very positive, to be like a victim of society, or to be a hero. You know, I think I wanted to have a character that was as complex as you can have with male characters in films in general. So yeah. Yeah, I think the film is a bit tricky. Like you have characters, you would think maybe they are the positive characters or the heroic ones or the one that will solve the situation, but they're not. you know, because I think that's how we all are. One day we are we are courageous and heroes of our own little lives, and then the other day we betray ourselves all the time. So I wanted to have characters that do that also. Okay, great, thank you.